Good evening and Grand Rising family. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing wonderful, doing just fine. I just wanted to come on for a moment, and I'm actually planning to do a book review tonight. And I have about 6 books that I want to introduce to you guys. Some of you may already be familiar with them, and some of you, I'm sure, not. But I want to introduce them, and tonight we're going to kind of talk about the gonna talk about the world of magic. Kind of go over a few terms in that area of spirituality, the magic area, occultism. Those are a couple of the terms that's been floating around in the last 2 years of the awakening, and so I want to kind of introduce some information to you guys. Some of you and some of you, as I say, may already be familiar with it. But in this awakening, there's many terms that are new to us or that we've heard of, but we've not come familiar with the definitions. And we're going to kind of expound a little bit on these terms, and just I'm going to share with you the books that I am reading right now to try and get a better understanding and learn about those things that have been primarily hidden from us for years and years and years. In my quest to learn, I want to learn it all, and so I'm taking my time, and in spurts I'm visiting certain areas of these topics, and I am reading material to try to be better fit in understanding. So I'm going to share those books with you here in just a moment. But the first thing I want to kind of talk about just a little bit, I won't be long, and that's the topic of the news flash that came out today about Adam Silver. And I think he's the NBA maybe commissioner, if I'm giving you the right title, NBA basketball commissioner, and how we saw, and many of us have seen it, and it's really hot right now. I was one of the first to see the message pop up today and comment on it about NBA basketball player Kyrie Irving, and how they tried to force him to apologize, accusing him of being anti-Semitic. And I loved the way he handled the reporters. I love the way he stood his ground, and I was amazingly proud of that young brother today. The way he answered the questions and how eloquently he responded, I just thought he was just amazing, and it actually brought me to tears. And looking at the way they tried to hem him up, to try to put him in a corner where he and force him to say something that he was not going to say. And I just love the way he handled those guys. And if you have not seen that footage, it is out there. It is on fire right now. And so you can see it just about anywhere you go. It's a big topic. And I just seen it come across the screen. I think late this evening is when it first came out, if I'm being correct. So it's hot right now. There's no way you can go on there and not find it. But he handled it like a champ. I'm so proud of that young brother. I really am. And how he stood up for our people, for the neuromelanated family. And he stood his ground. And he did not back down to the evils that was trying to chase him down and do what they call buck break him. Not today. Kyrie say not today. And I enjoyed that they at the beginning of the footage they showed a video coverage of a white man whipping a black man, and he was trying to make him say Kanta Kente. And then at the very end, after Kyrie got through putting it on him, they showed Shaka Zulu throwing that spear. It was just amazing how the times that we're in and how our people are waking up and responding and standing up to the evils of this world. I love it, guys. So I want to hit on that first before I get into the book review. And I want to jump right in because I don't want to be long. So again, there's been lots of information. I'm going to talk about 3 books. And there's been lots of information floating around, a lot of terms floating around in the last couple of years. And I say a couple of years, meaning in this awakening, this level of awakening, and different terms, different phrases, and it's a lot that the evils have hidden from us. And so many of us are trying to learn this material. We're trying to come to a place where we can continue to elevate ourselves, but understanding the process of the elevation so that we can be equipped with the knowledge that has been hidden from us for so long. And so I want to start, and like I said, the topic is, we're going to talk around the topic of magic and occultism. These are the types of books that I'm sharing with you today. And I don't care, a lot of this, all of this stuff, they manipulated us to believe that it was all evil, that every bit of it was just plumb evil. When you hear the word magic, when you hear the word occult, all alchemy, all of those words, astrology, they wanted us to believe that all of that stuff was evil, bad, demonic, and just downright, horrible stuff. It was taboo. And at the same time, they were taking the same information, the same material, and they were using it against us, is what they've been doing. And so it's time for us to understand what it's all about. And the only ways that I know is to either go within, which is the first priority way to learn about a lot of this information. And then the other way is to read, find the right literature that's going to give you the truth, and then read and study and become familiar with it that way. Either way, it's all a learning experience that I think we need to embark on, so that we can get all this information, because of course they never taught us that in school. They were never going to do that. So the first book I want to mention is called An Encyclopedia of Occultism. And before I show you that book, I want to show you this book. This book it's a very, very, very important book, and I would suggest all of us have this in our library, and it's called the Oxford English Etymology Dictionary. This book right here, once we begin to really understand how important it is to understand words and where they come from, the root of the word, because this system has been using words to spellbound us. They have been using words and terms and phrases and even songs to slash magic to spellbound us, to put us under spells. And they've been doing this for centuries and centuries. And a lot of how you can, when you're trying to learn this information, what's very intricate in getting it here is understanding the language, understanding the terminology and the words that they've used. And so this book, the Oxford English Etymology Dictionary, is going to help you. It's one of those books that we all need to have in our library. And anytime we study, I would suggest we make sure we have this book somewhere close by, because it's going to help us understand, the terminology that they've been using and where the root of those words have come from. So I wanted to show that book to you first of all before we get started. And then back to the first book. The first book I want to introduce to you is called An Encyclopedia of Occultism. This is an old old book. This is one of the newer, updated versions, but the information is I call it ancient. It's been around for a while, and but it's by Louis Spence, and this book is very entailed with a lot of. If you're really interested in learning about the occult, this book is one that I would recommend that you purchase and put in your library. So what is the occult? If I try and answer that, I just want to go to the root of it, the word occult, and I'm going to go back to this dictionary, the English etymology dictionary, and it says the occult. The root of the word occult is hidden, secret, to early sciences held to involve secret and mysterious knowledge. So that is the root terms in the definition of the word occult. So to start you off with that, when you look into this book, I'm just going to give you just some basics, and then we're going to go on from book to book to book, because I'm not going to spend too much time, but I do want to introduce the book to you and just give you a little synopsis of what it's about. And so it says the branches of occult science, and the branches are alchemy. These are terms that are in reference to the occult: alchemy, astrology, demonology, magic, mysticism, mysteries, spiritualism, theosophy, and witchcraft. So when you're studying in the area of the occult, those are the terms that you will become familiar with. And so if you're ever interested in learning about all of this, and I just think it's important, and the main reason, again, I think is important is because the evils have been using they've been using this to put us in the positions of being in spells for centuries. And so in order to understand what they did and, how to undo it, and just understanding it all, we would need to become familiar with these terms. And we're going to start with this book, An Encyclopedia of Occultism. So I would recommend, if you're ever interested in learning about this topic, I would recommend that be one book that you purchase. And the next book is The Planetary Magic. The Planetary Magic. Let me show you. And that book is by Denning and Phillips. Invoking and Directing the Powers of the Planets. So this book is going to kind of show you how the planets are connected to magic and, the occult, and I mentioned those other terms. It's going to show you how the planet is tied to these terms and the definition of these terms. Planetary Magic, The Essentials of Planetary Magic, Part 1. And that talks about the planets and the Kabbalah, the four worlds, the archetypes, and the psyche, the planetary counterparts, the powers of the deep mind, the vital reciprocity with cosmic forces. So again, this is all tied into how the planet, the topic of the planet, and the information on the magic of the planet, how it is tied into all of the other parts of this. So just know that this book is very intricate if you want to learn how that's all tied in. And again, it's called The Planetary Magic by Denning and Phillips. I always like to show you the book. A lot of time when I'm trying to look for books, if I know what they look like, it helps me a great deal. The next book that I found very interesting, and I've been reading this book A lot of times I always say I read 2 or 3 books at a time. So this book called Word Magic, The Powers and Occult Definition of Words by Pao Chang. This is a very, very, very important book. One that I would also recommend that you purchase for your dictionary, for your library, and if you're trying to learn about all of this in this realm of information, magic, terms of magic and definitions. This is the 2nd edition. And so when I was reading the introduction and I read the part where it says, today many scientists like to refer to the higher elements of our DNA as junk DNA. Family, there's nothing junk about our DNA. They believe these elements have no function. They know it has a function, but they want you to believe that it has no function. There's nothing junk about the higher elements of our DNA, because nature would never create something that has no role to play in the progression of the universe. And I know you guys, you know that. You understand. That's easy to understand. So our so-called junk DNA contains the higher and more powerful elements of our DNA. Our junk DNA is actually highly valuable DNA. Because of this, it holds some of the keys to unlocking memories of our true history and activating our dormant spiritual powers, telepathy, in parentheses. So this book, this is an amazing read. I would really recommend you guys purchase this book if you are trying to become familiarized with this area, in terms of magic and alchemy and all of this business. This book will help you tremendously understanding the magic of words. So again, Word Magic, the 2nd edition by Pao Chang. This is a good one, guys. This is one of those books you don't want to put it down once you start reading it. So I would advise you to purchase that. And then next, if you want to get into sigil witchery, to sigils, this is a witch's guide to crafting magic symbols. And again, I'm not necessarily promoting anything here except knowledge. I am promoting knowledge. And again, because these are the things that they used against us. And so in order to understand what they did, you're going to have to become familiar with this topic. And so magic symbols, sigil witchery by Laura Tempest Zockroff. Let me let you get a good look at the book. Like I say, when I'm familiar with what the book looks like, it's so much easier for me to find it. See, sigil witchery and the real discovery of the power of lines and symbols. So this book here, I was trying to find the area that I marked off. So this book, the introductions goes over the journey ahead, the modern tradition of witchcraft, what is a sigil, what is sigil magic, history of mark making, the eye, the brain, the hand, art, sign symbols in societies, simple yet sophisticated, sacred and secular. A picture is worth 1,000 words, or at least one, embodying symbols, gateway of the divine, the timelessness of tagging and symbol genesis. So that's just a few in the chapters, few topics in the chapters that you'll be learning about if you pick up this book. And so guys, when we're walking around and we're driving around in the city and we see all these signs and a lot of these restaurants, and they have the signs and they have certain diagrams, certain lines and shapes and even colors, and all of that is tied into sigil witchery. So they are actually putting codes in these titles, in these headings in front of these buildings. It's magic. It's spell work. You'll be so amazed. You look at the McDonald's symbols and different symbols, uh, um, so to speak, and different restaurants all around the city. And you'll see, like I say, certain colors can manipulate the mind, and certain lines and shapes and all of that, numbers, all of that is tied to sigil witchery. It can be deep until you understand it. Once you understand it, it becomes more and more clear, but it's all tied to magic. The next book is the Fundamental Book of Sigil, Magic. And it looks like this. By K.P. Theodore in the Erebus Society. This book serves as a textbook for those who wish to study the art of sigil magic. In its pages, you will find information about the different kinds of sigils, their use, activation techniques, and how to create custom-tailored sigils from scratch. Learn how to captivate emotions, empower the mind, create mental barriers, reprogram the brain, and alter consciousness by the use of mental sigils, and explore how the use of physical sigils can impact and amplify one's abilities and enrich magical workings. Guys, it's bigger than the mind can imagine. If you're not getting the information from within, and if you're not studying, you will be driving around the city and see all of these sigils, and you won't even have a clue. Yeah, it's just that deep. Magic, the science of magic. It's just that deep. So if you again are interested in learning about this, again I say they've used it against us for centuries, and the way to understand it is to start researching and reading, picking up these books, so you can get a good understanding of what they have been doing. And then there's a flip side to what they did, and how there are many people who use this stuff on the flip side for in a positive manner. It's a lot to it, guys. I'm going to show you the book once more. And that's the Fundamental Book of Sigil Magic, Volume 1. It won't say Volume 1, but it's the first book. Because the next book is the Fundamental Book of Sigil Magic, Volume 2. Again, and it looks very similar to the other book, but it'll say Volume 2. Again, by K.P. Theodore and the Erebus Society. This book serves as a textbook for those who wish to study the art of sigil magic. Again, in its pages, you will find information about the different kinds of sigils, their use, their activation techniques, and how to create custom-tailored sigils from scratch. Learn how to captivate emotions, empower the mind, again, create mental barriers, reprogram the brain. And again, guys, this is like a repeat of the information on the first book. So these are two books that the first book and then the volume 2 that will help you understand and give you a basic understanding of sigils and the fundamentals of them. So this is volume 2. And so the last book that I want to share with you that I picked up a while ago, and this book, I haven't read this book. I haven't started reading this book yet, and it's going to be a short read, but it's a very, very popular book. It's one that I've been hearing about for a very long time, and I finally gained interest when I began to be interested in the study of magic. And so I picked this book up, and it's called The Alchemist by Paula Coelho, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Let me show you what it looks like. The Alchemist is a very popular book. I know several people who have read this book and who loved it. They really enjoyed it. It says it's an enchanting novel, and it's about the life story of this young man an Andalusian shepherd boy named Santiago. He travels from the homeland in Spain to the Egyptian desert in search of a treasure buried near the pyramids. So this book, from what I understand, he's kind of trying to find his way. They describe it as a lush, evocative, and deeply humane. The story of Santiago is an eternal testament to the transforming power of our dreams and the importance of listening to our heart. So it's one of those books, sounds like it's probably very heartwarming. I love books like that. And I am very excited about getting into this one. It says to realize one's destiny is a person's own obligation. So it's an individual experience, and everybody's is different. This is a book that I would tell you guys to purchase. I'm going to get into it real soon. I'm finishing up a couple of books right now, and I think this one will probably be the next one that I dive into. It's going to be a short read, and I'm excited about it. So again, it's called The Alchemist, and it's by Paulo Coelho. If I'm pronouncing it correctly, let me let you even put it up where you can see the name. So I'm excited, guys, and that covers all 8 books, including the dictionary that Oxford Dictionary that I suggest that you guys purchase and always have one while you're studying. Have one in your library. So guys, that's it for my book review tonight. And like I say, in my quest to understand magic, what it's all about, what it means, and to first of all, I had to get rid of the fear of, what they embodied in us to be afraid of, even afraid of the words, the words and the definitions. They taught us to just fear them, astrology, they've taught us to be afraid of anything in that area. Magic was just taboo. And I had to first get rid of that fear before I can become eager enough to want to understand it, to learn about it and grasp and understand it. And so I've gotten rid of that. And so now I'm on my quest to study, research, and find out how they put us under the spell that we have been under for 400 and something years, maybe 500. But these are the types of things that they did to put us under that spell that we're finally being set free from today. So guys, I hope that those of you that are interested will consider purchasing these books and will actually read them and study them. And I believe you'll be blessed. I am already being blessed, so I know you will be blessed as well. So I appreciate you coming on to this book review, and I appreciate you staying to the end to get this information. And I hope that it blesses you the way that it has been blessing me. Thank you. I would like to ask you to like the video, because when you like it, others can see the video. And please share it because more can see it. And I appreciate you for that. I'm going to sign out now. I'm going to say assalamu alaikum to you. Namaste. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe. Peace be unto you guys. You know how much I love you. Keep your chin up. Always get some sun and hug somebody, guys. There's always somebody out looking for a hug. Thank you so much again. I love you, my brothers and sisters. Take care, and I'm going to say bye-bye for now. Bye. Good night.